do want to stay with this reaction first because I think it's important to point out that over 9 hours after this blast in Baghdad, we have not heard from the US President, George W. Bush. And this in the aftermath of him really launching this PR blitz on Iraq. Is there a sense, or is there a feeling there that he is dodging the bad news and wanting to promote the good news?
Well, yes, indeed, there is this feeling, among the Arabs, and there is a feeling of really a distance from reality, if you like, because we hear something and we see something else. It's incredible how quickly the American administration is losing its credibility in the area, not only as far as Iraq is concerned, but I believe also as far as the other Middle East problem, which is basically the Palestinian problem. But today, people, have been shocked. It's another attack. Basically, civilians died, they're innocent people, and people are witnessing another deterioration in the, security situation. People are unhappy. People are, saying, there is no security, there is no rebuilding going on, and the feeling that the war is, the peace is being lost, is very prominent in the area.
Now, I do want to go back to this blast, and we do know from the authorities there, they're saying it is too early to tell who may have been behind the blast, but they do believe the Baghdad hotel was the target. Now, there is this perception that CIA operatives may very well be housed there. We're told that's not the case from US authorities, but is it just enough that it is a perception that they're there?
Well, absolutely, yes. I think anything American, but I think it's a failure, basically, on the intelligence part, also on the security part. But anything moving that is, American is a target in Iraq. It's very unfortunate because these American soldiers are there, to help and to try and to bring peace. But it's unfortunate that the policies that they are implementing are not seen to be doing that. So there is this misunderstanding. While when they first entered Iraq, people were hopeful that they have gotten rid of Saddam Hussein, and maybe the American soldiers and indeed the British soldiers and other soldiers there would leave Iraq very quickly and would, leave it in the hands of Iraqis. The problem is that not only they're not leaving, but they're not seen to be building a force with international consent. If the UN perhaps moves in with more internationalized force in Iraq, I think you will see a change in the situation. This attack today seems to be following a pattern. I think this is like the 5th of its kind, and people in the area think that more of the same will follow. It's very unfortunate.
Have you learned any additional information about this bombing at all?
Well, actually, no, but people are, pointing out to some forces who are extremely secretive, who are very well organized, and I dare say many people think it is Saddam and his forces, but we have no credible information to say either or. I mean, we really don't know.
You talked about people, really, they're tired of waiting for the US troops or the Coalition Provisional Authority to do something to reconstruct Iraq. But do you say that that is really a broadly held view now by Iraqis, or is it just a small group?
No, I think this is widely viewed. I mean, there are some positive signs, of course. It's not all so bad. But the general feeling is not a happy one. You hear reports that are incredible, like about women being kidnapped, being raped. This is very alien to an Arab Muslim society. You hear of children being killed and stuffed with explosives. I'm sorry to say that. You hear all sorts of amazing and ugly reports coming from inside Iraq. And not only in Baghdad, but in other areas, but predominantly in Baghdad. The feeling is that there is some movement, but this movement is very slow indeed, is not enough. And also we have some very negative signs also coming, like what's happening with the Shia cleric Muqtada Sadr, who is, already today has declared, the construction of this in government, which is alien to the authorities that been put in place by the Americans. Also, also the bringing back of the Muslim courts, if you like. All these reports are not helpful to make people feel at ease. Also, one would bring comes to mind that maybe there is some sort of civil war, even between Shias themselves or between other forces. There's also, I must say, unhappiness about the Americans bringing in Turkish troops. And I think all the officials in Baghdad and the people inside Baghdad, they were saying we would not like any forces coming from around the area, not only the Turks but anybody else. So in short, there's this feeling that what the Americans want, the American administration is doing, irrelevant of how the Iraqis are feeling, or indeed all the other Arabs or Muslims around the world are feeling. It's a feeling that the Americans are not listening.
All right, Baria Alamuddin, thank you for your perspective on this matter. Appreciate it.